Hey there, and welcome to Your Worth, Your Way, the podcast that's all about helping you understand that you are worthy of prioritizing your own joy without feeling selfish or guilty. I'm Debbie Lucas, the Joy Alchemist, and each week I'll be bringing you honest, heartfelt conversations with incredible guests, coaches, thought leaders, and soulful humans who share their stories and insights on self-worth, confidence, personal growth, and how to create a life that feels authentically yours. This isn't about quick fixes or cookie cutter advice. It's about real talk, practical takeaways, and plenty of soulful inspiration to help you live life your way. So grab your favorite cuppa, get comfy, and let's dive into today's episode. So today I'm joined by the incredible Kat Storing, a somatics facilitator, business, trauma, healing, and strategic coach. And we're going to be diving into authenticity, living on purpose through healing our past trauma. I'm so excited for you to hear about Kat's journey and her insights on living life her way. So welcome, Kat. How are you today?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. It was so beautiful. Thank you.
So tell me, what's lighting you up at the moment?
Oh my God, so many things. I can be honest and say that finding my singing voice or reconnecting with my singing voice was amazing. So last night I did a sound healing session, and this song just came kind of like out of nowhere, but it's been there all along, and that just it made me feel I was emotional at the time because it was like this is I'm doing this. The sound is coming out of me. It was just so incredible. Yeah, the instruments are great, and to be able to use to add my voice to it, it was just such a gift.
Beautiful. Wow. And I think for a lot of us, we don't feel like we have voices when we're, whatever we're doing. So being able to find that in such a beautifully creative and expressive way is amazing. I'd love to hear that sometime.
Yeah, you'll be able to. So I decided I am not ashamed. I'm not afraid. I'm excited. I'm like, I listened to it again. I'm like, oh my God, I like it. Not in the sense of like it's a beautiful voice, even though I do like it, but it was so authentic. It was so me and moving at the time that we are going to take clips out of the sound bath and we're going to share it on our social media channels because I want people to go beyond what the voice sounds like and you'll see how I'm so much in my element. And the song that came out is just a couple of lyrics. It says, I am connected. I am connected in my soul. I am connected with my soul. And I'm telling you, the sound bowls were going, the rain drum was going, and it was just such a beautiful moment to be aware that I am connected.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm sure we'll delve more into that. I mean, you
Yeah.
living your authenticity by owning your voice and singing is beautiful. But I love that bit about the connection and connection with your soul, because that is like where you find your true purpose and where you find your worth as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is so
Okay.
beautiful. Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about your story and what led to you doing the work that you're doing right now?
Yeah, so you know what they say that we are our first clients. So the people that I help today are me not that long ago. So I've been in business for a very long time. I embarked on this journey since 20 at the end of 2011. And I have had different iterations of businesses, different ways of helping people and learning. And I don't know if you've ever been in a place where you have this desire and it's like almost desperation. I need to make it happen. It has to happen. So I was burning the candle at both ends, like they say. And I was working during the day, working at night until 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes getting up early the next day, doing it again, raising my daughter. And it was just this endless stream of launching, creating, selling, launching, creating, selling. And I got so burned out. I'm sure my audience got burned out because I was always selling something because I needed to. Not that it was a bad thing, but I probably didn't wait for that thing that I was creating to have its birth moment. I was forcing it through the canal, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
So I got myself completely burned out because I was not being creative. I was like a producer. I was like, I call myself the worst slave driver, and I was doing that to myself. And I completely burned out through the pandemic, and I just walked away. I walked away, got myself a job, and said, I can't do this anymore. And then began the journey of realizing something was wrong. And I created that, and I needed to figure out where it originated and how I can make it better. And the funny thing is that even though I have done therapy in my life in 5 different occasions, I felt like it was not the way to go this time. That I knew I needed something deeper. I needed something that was going to work a little faster. Because therapy is great, but it's like a year of talking about the same thing over and over again and having little nuggets along the way. So that's when I started my journey of healing.
Beautiful. And so, was there kind of like a defining moment when you realized that you kind of needed to step into your worth to, because I believe that when we go on these healing journeys, we need to feel worthy of being able to heal. We need to feel worthy of, investing in ourselves, of doing that work. So, was there kind of a defining moment for you in that journey?
Yeah, for sure. So we were dead smack in the middle of the pandemic, and then I realized that I went to launch something, and I felt like I had PTSD. I felt like, whoa, I couldn't show up
Yeah.
on social media. I couldn't say it. I would do the same thing, create something, be excited about it. Nobody will really help people, but I couldn't do it. And then I tried a couple more times, and I was like, this is not right. What is going on? Like I feel like I didn't know how to word at the time, but I felt there was an event that had happened that held me hostage, that something inside of me was holding me back. So I'm like, okay, this is not fun. It's not successful. I am stressing myself out. I'm gonna take a break. And like I said, I was trying to find the right modality, and that's when somatics came back to my life. It had been in my life. I heard about it years ago, but I was not ready. And this time, a coach was talking about it. And this time, my soul, I don't know, like he just said, there's something there.
I love that. I love that. And so, I'm assuming you then use somatics to help you shift that. What I see it as like it helps you to shift the stuck energy. So I think that's how, when I was working with a somatic coach, that I had this stuck energy in me and I was like, I just needed to move. So was that then what inspired you to become a somatics practitioner yourself?
For sure. So what happened was I began to look at areas of my life. It was not just a career; it was also my personal relationships, my romantic relationships or lack thereof. I've been divorced for a very long time, and I kept saying I want to have a relationship. And my sister one day called me out, and it hurt at the time, but it was exactly what needed to happen. She said, "You keep saying you want to have a relationship, but if you did, you would." And I said, I went into a litany of excuses. No, you don't understand. I'm not meeting people, blah, 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 blah. She's like, well, you wanted this, you got it. You wanted that, you got it. This was really, really difficult. You wanted, and you did it. And then I had no arguments. I'm like, oh my God, she's right. She's right. So I wanted to investigate for myself. I knew that the business problem was not a business problem. It was a me problem, a cat problem. So I'm like, let me work on what is I think I just added too much in that closet. There's too much stuff going on. I need to go in there and start taking stuff out. And I'm going to start with my interpersonal relationships. I'm going to start with my childhood. And that's what I did. I went to Bali and I went on this intense retreat. And it was supposed to be a love retreat, but it was just a life retreat. It was
Mhm.
just really connecting with all that was there. And when I saw the transformation in me and all the people that were there, I decided when I go back to the US, I'm doing this to continue the healing.
Yes.
And as I began to start the healing for myself, I realized I want to help other people with this modality as well.
Yeah, beautiful. And it's like you said at the start that, we are often our own first clients. And
Yeah.
this is the bit that I love about having these conversations, with my guests and people that I've worked with because and so I'm the joy alchemist. So for me, it's everything is about alchemizing our experiences into wisdom and knowledge, the lessons and the blessings that we can bring. And, then we can learn what's helped us along the way and we can then go and shine that light for other people. So that's
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. So, um, coming back to kind of like what was it that made you feel worthy? Or was there any kind of thoughts that went through your mind that made you feel worthy of taking that next step? Because obviously you've had the burnout before, you know, described the
Mm,
PTSD. So what was it this next time? And you know, thank goodness that you did come back because you've got such beautiful gifts to share with the world.
mm,
That,
thank you.
you know, what was the challenges you faced around that self-worth that allowed you to show up in the world now as you do?
Yeah, I don't know that it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't hit rock bottom. So it was not so much about self-worth, it's that I had no other choice.
Okay.
Like I think I let it get so bad that I didn't even have the time to think, who am I to take this break? Who am I to now get help? Like I didn't even have that in me. I was out, I was on empty.
Mhm.
On empty. I don't know if you ever drive your car and the light comes on, the fuel light comes up, right? And you're like, oh, I still have a few more miles. And I don't know if you ever push it. I push it. Sometimes I push it. And it's like living on the edge. Well, I was beyond the
Yeah.
reserve that the cars have, beyond that. I was on empty. So I said, is this or nothing? I didn't want to live like that anymore. And I think I'm glad that I hit rock bottom because sometimes if it's not as bad, you're like, oh, I could keep going. It's not that bad. It will get better. It was bad. It was bad for me personally. I don't like to settle for not enough. Like it just felt like I was just living and I was not really living, I was existing. So I don't know that I had that conversation other than if I don't do this, I won't be able to keep going
Yeah.
even with the irregular every day. So it was a necessity for me. It was like breathing for me at that point.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. And I think, you know, that that story will resonate with so many listeners. And I my very first coach that I worked with, she talks about, you know, the fact that we either heal or change from a place of
Mm,
pain, or we heal or change because we wanted to move towards something better. And
yeah.
sometimes, you know, sometimes the two are kind of working together anyway. And so you know, I think that by us sharing our gifts, using the modalities that we use to help heal the world, we can, you know, maybe hopefully prevent people from hitting the rock bottom, you know, that we can take their hand along the way and shine that light. So that's really important. So, you know, obviously worthiness for you probably would have evolved over time. And as you said, like, you know, that rock bottom probably meant that there was no worth or very low worth
Yeah.
for yourself there.
Yeah.
So how has that evolved and your understanding of worthiness evolved over time?
Hmm, such a good question. I don't know if I use worthiness, and maybe I just mean something different to me, but for me, it has always been about my inner child, my little girl, call her my little cat. And I have grown so fond of her, and I have such tenderness towards her that she is worthy of everything.
Mhm.
Anything she needs, anything she desires, anything that is available that is amazing, she should have
Yeah.
because she is precious and she's pure. So for me, I am an extension of her. So for so if she's worthy, I'm worthy. And I'm all about living life to the fullest. Maybe because I'm a Taurus, I don't know. I like the finer things in life. I like experiences. I like love meals. I love spending quality time with people that I care about. So for me, what has happened is as I continue to connect more with her, I'm integrating her into me.
Mhm.
And thank you for that question because it's really helping me think about this. And then that self worth is falling in more into me. So now I'm doing it for her, and more I'm doing it for me as well. And it's easier. It's easier to say, yeah, I deserve to go for Pilates every week. Yeah, I deserve to ask my friend on a date. So I have a friend, a couple local friends, and I'm like, hey, let's do something. Let's go on a girl date, um, because I work hard, or because I want to see you, or because we deserve to have fun. So it's becoming more of an everyday or every week thing when I'm looking at what are the ways that I can nurture myself back, or as I call it, filling up my love tank back. Because when my love tank is empty, it's like I stop. It's like if nothing else happens, I make bad decisions from that emptiness place.
Yeah, that's so beautiful, and I think the whole inner child healing thing, you know, is such a big piece of work and healing, and it's ongoing because I think, you know, obviously, you know, our beliefs. most of our beliefs are formed, at a very, very young age by our family, society, culture, that we grow up and live in and our experiences. So, I think, we carry that wounding with us throughout life. And I think it's so beautiful the way you described it. And it was lovely to see that
Mm.
realization for yourself, even as we're talking, that,
Yeah.
once you can heal that little person, that little baby, that little cat, she is worthy because every child is born worthy and deserving of having the best life and whatever they desire. And if we can give that to ourselves, and integrate that in ourselves, then that becomes a natural extension, of who we are, and we
Yeah.
inherently become worthy and are enough just by doing that.
Beautifully said. I love that. It's such a great reflection in, I think us are givers and healers. We tend to give and give and give because that is our calling. And we forget that our first priority is to give to ourselves.
Yes.
And that's something that I had to learn the hard way, to have boundaries, where I am now really big on two things can be true at the same time.
Mhm.
You need me,
Mhm.
and I cannot help you.
Yes.
And that was hard. I don't know about you, but that was
Yes.
hard for
Yes.
me to
Yes.
say, I feel for you. I can tell that you really, really need me. And also, I don't have it in me.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think that boundary setting is one
Mm.
of the most
Oof.
uncomfortable things that because we want to help everybody. And I think we,
Yeah.
once we realize that we can't help everybody if anybody if we're not, in a good place ourselves, and that means that we're not doing any of the good work that we're here to do. So you help people heal from past trauma so that they can live authentically. What are some of the common blocks that you found are holding people back from their real selves, and how they start releasing them?
Yeah, for sure. So because I'm an entrepreneur and been an entrepreneur for so long, the people that come that gravitate towards me tend to 95% of the time tend to be entrepreneurs. And one of the things is that many of them are doing well. And then they hit this plateau and they don't know why. They feel there is another level inside of them, and they just keep hitting this imaginary ceiling and they cannot pass it and they don't understand why. And oftentimes it's something to do with an old money story, stuff, stories that they heard when they were growing up, or um, limitations that were put on them by a parent.
Mhm.
And that happens a lot. Or lack of self-forgiveness for something that they did or did not do in the past. So all these things, and also boundaries with parents and siblings. Oh my God, that is such a big one because healers tend to be very sensitive and very giving and very kind and very understanding and forgiving. And people that are not so nice can smell that miles and miles away. So they come over and flock, take and leave, and they come and take and come and take. And I don't know for you, but in the past, it took me a long time to notice when someone was a taker
Yeah.
because I'm just happy. That's my nature, my natural habitat, just giving. So
Mhm.
it would take me a long time to notice.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it is that bit because, people, and this is no judgment or no judgment on anybody because they'll have their own patterns and beliefs. And so, people tend to kind of like, you live in this kind of symbiotic relationship with anybody that you come into contact with. But when you're a natural giver, an empath and healer, you're probably going to attract somebody who needs that. But then it's about like where is that balance? Where is that harmony within that relationship? And I think that's so important. So what is I guess is maybe different things for different people and different of these areas that you've mentioned, but what is one kind of step that people can take or you help people to take to overcome those issues around boundaries, around how they show up, about healing their money blocks and all that kind of thing?
Yeah, that's such a good question. It's actually a couple of things, and the first one is wanting things to change.
Mhm.
And that's one of my first criteria is somebody's going to work with me. I have had quite a few referrals from parents saying, oh, you should work with my child. They're in denial. They don't think there's anything wrong. And I have tried everything and they don't want to change. And I'm like, I cannot work with them because they don't want to change.
Yeah.
And some people, maybe that's for another coach. As for another healer, it's not for me. I'm not in the business of bullying people into wellness. It's not something that I'm down for or that I want to experience. So that's number one. They have to want to change. It has to come from them. They don't need to know how. They don't need to be so aware of what's going on. They just know, they don't even need to know what's wrong. They just need to know something's wrong and I need change and I need help. That's number one. And then the second thing is they have to be coachable.
Mhm.
It's so important for people to, I heard that before. I don't know if you ever had people saying that. I heard that before, or I tried that before,
Yeah.
or I'm definitely not going to do that. So the willingness to listen and the willingness to surrender, and that's why this process for me it's so personal that I develop relationships. So there is a relationship practitioner, healer to I don't want to say patient, but client, so they can trust me. And that's why I'm so vocal about my own journey. I could hide it. I could say that everything has been good. I've always been good and I never made any mistakes and I always knew what I wanted and everything was well. Who does that serve? It's not true. And also we already have a lot of that. So I'm not gonna add to the fallacy that everything's always great because I know I have days when I don't feel great. There are days when I don't want to shower and I don't. And that's okay. And the next day I'll shower, or maybe the day after that, and that it's okay. People don't hear that enough. And I love the influencers that show up and they acknowledge, yeah, I had this shirt yesterday. And I love when they say that. It's like, I know that you notice. Yeah, that's the same shirt from yesterday, especially when they have little kids,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So it's when we're honest with ourselves, we can encourage. It almost becomes like an epidemic. I'm honest, you're honest. Now you're like, oh my God, you're not perfect. Oh my God, like you have your own practitioner. I receive somatics to this day every single week because I am helping people. I need to be a healed healer. Like I need to.
100%. And I think, the first part that you said there about people need to want it. I remember when I first started on my personal spiritual development journey and this whole world opened up to me, like, because like I remember thinking there's got to be another way, there's got to be more to life than this. And suddenly that, there was people, showed me this. And I kind of wanted to go and stand and shout it from the rooftops and
Yeah,
shake people
yeah,
on the street going, like, there is a better way. Do you know the truth? It's kind of that. And I remember having the conversation with my coach at the time, and she was like, but you can't make people change." And that was a
yeah,
really positive realization for me because what I then took upon myself was just to be a shining example. But an authentic shining example, exactly as you described there, because I am not sitting here saying that I am perfect. Yes, my
yeah,
days are filled with joy now because that's how I live intentionally, but it's been years of work and
yeah,
years of situations and circumstances and events that have happened in my life that have brought me to this place. And I'm reading a book and they talk about like the Olympic gold medalist, them winning the
mm,
gold medal seems to be like the achievement, but we don't necessarily truly appreciate the years of physical
yeah,
training, mental training, emotional training, mindset work that actually culminates in that gold medal in that Olympic event. And that's the same for us, as healers. Yes, we show up and we have come on a journey and we are at a place where we're able to now shine that light for other people. But that doesn't mean that we've still not got that mindset work that, every time we come on a call that we're still kind of going, oh my gosh, is this really, so I think that's so important as well.
it's the work that never ends. I'm doing something right now that I'll be helping people in March, and it's called the deeper work. Because a lot of people talk about let's do the deep work, and it's like everywhere you go, the deep work. Let's do the deep work, and it's like yeah, but there's something beneath that. There is something else beneath that because I've been doing the deep work for a long time, but there's another level so you can get to your next level
Yes.
because people that are already successful compared to their relatives, compared to their friends, it's very easy to say, I made it. Like compared to my peers, I'm good. But if you know inside of you, there is another level for me, and you're not able to get there, you try everything and it doesn't happen, there's something deeper that we need to work on
Yeah.
to find out why you are not hitting that next level. And that's the stuff that we're doing now. It's that deeper work because a lot of people that I'm helping, they meditate, they pray, they go on retreats, and yet there's these nagging little things in the background running the show still.
Yeah, definitely. And it's often said in the healing space that we heal in layers. And I think that's so true because I think, as we grow and develop, and as we level up, we view ourselves, the world, our experiences through different lenses, through different understanding. And so what we thought we kind of completed, it kind of
Yeah.
opens up again. And I think that's another reason why, as healers ourselves, we need to continue doing that work, because, well, apart from absorbing some of the trauma and the energy of the people we work with, we need to protect ourselves from that, and we need to make sure that we're kind of setting those kind of boundaries for ourselves in terms of our own energetic space. But I love that, that bit about, like, to get to the next level, we need to heal another level. And it's like kind of almost like to go up, you need to kind of go down. And the bit that's really important for me in the work that we do is, like I have, you have all the tools to be able to heal ourselves, but our own ego, our own unconscious mind wants to keep us safe. It's not going to let us go there. So having somebody who can guide you through that, and sometimes it is just like that physical movement of moving that energy through you.
Mm.
That was so powerful, that somatic work that I've done, or whether it's a guided visualization or some hypnosis or something that, whatever modality, resonates. But, unless you've got somebody who can kind of really hold that space for you and create a safe container, you're probably never going to get to those deeper layers yourself.
Absolutely. And I know this word healing has been overused, and I use it myself. And as you were talking, I just had this huge aha moment because people are like, sometimes they can connect like healing. What am I mean? I'm not bleeding. I don't have a tumor. What are you talking about? Healing. And healing is when you can fully operate at the level and capacity that you were created to operate. So imagine that you are this beautiful, bright, engine red Ferrari, okay? Beautiful, gorgeous, like right off the lot, and you're driving 5 miles an hour. You're driving, it's moving, it's now moving at the capacity
I can feel
of
myself
the
like, I want to go, I want to go, but nothing. It's like
right, the horsepower. Like when
something's
you hear
pulling me back.
you hear it. You hear a Ferrari before you see it.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
right? So that is how we are. And many times we're operating like this little rinky dinky little car when we have this beautiful Ferrari engine inside of us. And that's what healing is, operating at our full capacity while having joy. And you are the joy alchemist. So when you add those things together, it transcends healing. It goes beyond. It's just you honor the creator, you honor what you were created to do, and that's how I want to live life. I
yes,
want to live life to the fullest. I want people to see me and be like, Kat is a medicine woman that sees people in their healed capacity, and she helps them navigate the gap.
yeah.
Period. The end. That's what I was made to do. And I cannot be making bread in the kitchen. Not that there's anything wrong with making bread in the kitchen, but I was not made to make bread. I'm probably made to eat bread in the kitchen, but to make it, no.
I love that analogy of the Ferrari because, like, if you're gonna put the cheap, nasty fuel into it, it's gonna just
Yeah.
like stay. And I don't know if you have it the same in the US, but a lot of our cars have speed restrictors on them. So
Oh,
especially if
really?
it's like company cars or like cars that that you're using for
Okay.
work purposes. But you can also, like, I can turn it on in my car so that I don't go over a certain speed limit.
Oh,
If
wow.
you,
Yeah, no, we
you
don't have that.
but like, but when you're driving, you go to a certain speed, and then it feels like there's something pulling you back, and that's what I
Oof.
feel is
Yeah.
around like low self-worth. Is like you want to step forward, you want to go forward, but
Yeah.
there's that low self-worth, like a bungee cord that just keeps pulling you back, and you maybe step
Yeah.
so far, and it pulls you back, and that's the bit where if you can strengthen that. Then you can step forward. You can be that person.
Yeah.
You can be that Ferrari. You can race down that motorway of life. To use your
Yeah.
analogy. So, um,
Yeah.
obviously, we talk a lot about worthiness in the podcast. What's one practice or mindset shift that helped you step into your worth to show up as that person, as you said, that is here to help people?
Yeah, it's tied to what we've been talking about. It's to see myself as my creator sees me. And that means that I don't say yes to things that I don't want to say yes to.
Yeah.
It is the types of foods that I eat, the places that I go to. So I see my higher self.
Uh-huh.
And I don't see it with a big head. I don't see it like I am all that in a bag of chips. I'm not saying that, but I am saying I am created on purpose with a purpose.
Hmm.
And that means that there's greatness inside of me. That means that I should be treated a certain way. So there are things that I don't tolerate. And it's understanding boundaries to another level. I don't set boundaries on other people. I set boundaries on myself. So for example, if we are having coffee and you begin to yell, well, people cannot yell at me in my presence. I cannot tell you not to yell, but
Yes.
that means I'm not gonna be in your presence because
Hmm.
that's not something that I tolerate. That's
Yeah.
not what I allow people to do. So I didn't have that. I didn't have the language. I didn't have the capacity. I didn't have the ovaries to say, don't talk to me that way, or you don't get to do that, you know? And now I do. So it's beautiful when I'm noticing some people's behavior, or somebody that I really care about wants me to do something that is not bad for me,
Yeah.
but is not in alignment to
Yes.
where this version of me. So now I get to say, I know that you want me to do that, but it goes against what I want to do. And it all depends on the relationship. Some people I do explain, others I just as a no, and that's enough, right? Um, but it's just the things that I no longer tolerate. And I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or because I'm doing the work, the deeper
Hmm.
work. I don't
Hmm.
know, but I am just noticing and not flogging myself for the many times and years that I didn't. That's
Yes.
the other thing, that
Yeah.
we can be so mean to ourselves and be like, I can't believe you let them do that. I can't believe that. And it's like, no, no, I didn't know any better, so I didn't do better.
Yes.
Now I do. So
Yes.
now I can stop it, and I can be like, oh, I see what you're doing. That's not gonna work.
Yeah. I love that. And it's not about necessarily being perfect in those moments. As you say, it's about
Yeah,
knowing better and doing better as you grow and as
yes,
you develop. And so I think, for me, that's about staying very present, being in your body, because your body will tell you when something doesn't feel good and
yes,
doesn't feel right. And it's about then
yes.
responding. And that's how you keep yourself safe. Because if you're keeping yourself and responding to that and setting that boundary, then that's kind of where like your worthiness comes in, because you are worthy of not being yelled at. You are worthy of not being treated, like a slave, or like anything like that. People take advantage of you. That
They
was
do.
beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I was with someone on Saturday and after the sweat lodge, which was incredible. And I got my spiritual name, which I've been waiting for, and I didn't have it. And it came to me while in the sweat lodge, and it's the medicine woman that sees. And I'm like, oh my God, that is
Yeah.
so impactful. And I'm talking to someone and I'm explaining what I do. And I'm like, I help people and I see them and I see what's wrong. And he's like, I only do them when people ask me. And he said, so what do you see? And I said, I'm going to tell you because I know you're ready. Even though you're not ready, it'll hit you like a ton of bricks in a couple of days, but you ask, I'm going to tell you. It's really hard for you to say no. And then he's like, really? And I said, yeah, say no to me. And the no that he gave me had such low vibration. It was so weak. No. And I said, no. And I said, it needs to come from your
Yeah.
gut.
Yeah.
And then he tried again, and it was probably even weaker. And then I said to her, no, there's no anger, but there's authority. I said,
Uh-huh.
no.
Mhm.
And then I said, and furthermore, you have a hard time saying yes to the things you really want to say yes to. And you're overcompensating because you don't want to be like a certain masculine person in your life. And that's really hindering the person that you are today. And he was like, oh my, I didn't know this person. Okay. I just
Wow.
met him.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, in a couple of days, you're going to be like, holy crap, this is crazy.
I love that story, and it actually answers one of the next questions I was going to ask you, was like, switching lanes into joy, just a little bit about,
Yeah.
it's often something that we overlook in like in our day-to-day lives. And like well, the question was, what's one simple way that you can create joy, or that you do create joy in your life? And I think you answered that by saying, it's saying yes to the things that light you up,
Yeah.
and
And
not
that,
feeling
yeah,
guilty for it.
that takes a lot. That takes a lot. I am going on a trip in a couple, actually next week with my mother, and there's some activities that she would like me to do. And it came up already. And I said, um, I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
And it was so beautiful. And she understood, but I'm glad that it came up early because it's like, while you're doing this, I'll do this. And again, there's nothing bad for me. It's just not in alignment with the person that I have become. And the old me, out of respect, because I love my mom so much, I would just be like, oh, she'll feel good. But what little cat tells me, she has taught me so beautifully, is like, but how am I gonna feel?
Yeah.
So are you gonna choose her over me, which
Yeah.
you have done many, and then many times more? So now I cannot unhear her. I cannot unfeel her. So I need to be as honest as possible. And the other thing that I'm still working on, but now I know it, so I cannot undo it. I need to trust people with my truth.
Yeah.
And that is grown up stuff. Okay. This is like the real deal. This is like the big leagues. This is like master PhD level. Trust people with your truth. I
Yeah.
love you, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you that.
Yeah.
I love you, and that I am not comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
Or I love you, but I don't love you anymore. That
Mhm.
is huge. Or actually, I don't even like you anymore. Or I changed my mind. I don't want to be in this relationship. Instead of leaving without leaving,
Yes. Yes. It's kind of like
I am,
celebrating in relationships, isn't it? But you
yes,
actually,
that's a big one.
yeah, you need to own it. You need to own
Shut down. Shut down. You change completely. Take yourself away. The person asks you, is everything okay? Everything is fine. No, they notice the energetic shift. You took yourself out. You're not trusting them with your truth. So the work that I have been doing is because I'm so nice and I don't want to make waves and I'm too understanding. That's bullshit. That's not the real me. That's the curated version that I think I was that never worked for me in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Kat, for sharing your story and your insights. And one thing that just really there was so many kind of aha moments. I've got a whole notebook full of things that I was writing down, but I think that bit that you said about we need to heal another level deeper down to be able to move up to that next level. And there's that saying that's been floating about for me recently about you can't create the new life that you desire by staying as the old version of yourself.
Yeah.
And that kind of really resonated with what you were saying there as well.
Yeah,
So
beautiful. It's my pleasure. Thank you for asking such great questions. Oh my goodness.
you're welcome, and it's beautiful. And this is part of the reason I created this podcast, because these are the conversations I was having with my friends and my coaches and my mentors
Yeah,
anyway, and the light bulbs that come on for us. And I just wanted to share that with the world. So thank you so much for showing up authentically and being raw within that as well.
my
So
pleasure.
I am sure that my listeners would love to connect with you more. So tell us about what you're currently working on and where do you hang out? Where can I find out more about you?
Absolutely. So right now I'm working on a couple of things. I am in the middle of launching my healing cards, my card deck.
Mhm.
It's all about healing, which is why they're called the healing cards. Are coming out very soon. And I'm so excited about that. I spend a lot of time on Instagram. My full name is Catherine Storing. Everything is Catherine Storing. My website's catherinestoring.com, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the things. And I'm excited to continue to peel the layers. I am leading by example, and that's how I'm continuing my healing process, by sharing where I'm at and what I am overcoming in the moment. Like I share it in real time.
Love it. I love it so much. And that's how other people heal, is just by seeing us leading without those examples as well.
Yeah,
So thank you very much. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Your Worth Your Way. I know you'll be walking away feeling inspired and ready to embrace your worth and prioritize your joy. If you loved this episode, I'd be so grateful if you could leave a review or share it with someone who needs a little bit of encouragement today. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss another episode. And you can connect with me, find out more about the podcast, all the links to my guests and what I do at debbielucas.me/links. And if you don't already, come on, follow me on your favorite social media platform. I'd love to hear your thoughts and continue the conversation there. And until next time, remember, you are worthy exactly as you are.